There should be water up to that white line in the rock. But 5 successive years of drought in Iran have left this reservoir near empty. And the city it serves, Tehran, could soon be forced to empty too.
اگه بخواد ادامه پیدا کنه فکر نمی‌کنم کسی بخواد زندگی کنه دیگه تو کرج و تهران. شروع میشه به حرکت به سمت جاهای سرسبز و پرآب. من خودم وقتی آب نداشته باشم میمونم، امکان نداره بمونم.
Climate change is part of this story, but for many Iranians this is the result of man-made political failure. And speaking out against the hardline regime carries risks, which is why we're concealing their identities.
برای اینکه علم ندارن، برای اینکه سواد ندارن، برای اینکه شعور ندارن، برای اینکه همیشه بوده ندید و نبوده رو ندیده بودن. علم این که این تموم میشه رو نداشتن. واقعا ناراحت شدم. واقعا ناراحت شدم.
For now, life goes on, but Tehran is on edge. The bottles are piling high, the water trucks queuing up. An ancient city of 10 million people facing an existential crisis, with the regime considering the unprecedented step of evacuating the capital.
اگر باران نباره ما در تهران در آذر ماه باید جیره بندی کنیم. تازه معلومه جیره بندی کردیم اگر بازم نباره که دیگه اصلا آب نداریم. باید تهران رو خالی کنن.
That rain has not come, and so the rationing has begun. People are collecting water in the day ahead of the taps running dry at night. For this mother with 2 young children, life has become difficult. The water pressure reduced, the hot water gone, help from the authorities non-existent.
و ما همون حالا سیفون دستشوییمون هم مجبوریم با آفتابه پر کنیم و بریزیم. یعنی عملا برگشتیم به مثلا به 40 سال 50 سال قبل انگار. و این کار واقعا به نظر من توهین به حق شهروندی ما. یه رفاه نسبی آدم‌ها باید داشته باشه. حداقلش اینه که شیرابو باز می‌کنی آب بیاد.
Satellite images show the before and after. Rain levels are 85% below average, and the reservoirs Tehran depends upon are just 5% of their reserve capacity.
Decades of poor management, lack of foresight, building more dams, digging deeper wells, transferring water from one basin to another, thinking that by increasing supply you can address the water availability and water shortage issue, not thinking that you also need to cap water consumption.
That consumption is being fueled in large part by an agricultural industry that uses up a staggering 90% of the country's water supply. And despite sanctions, many products are being exported to Iran's neighbours around the Gulf. The warning now from experts that when it comes to water, Iran is living beyond its means, and so-called day zero is rapidly approaching.
Day zero is the day that the taps would fully run dry. There is no water to be pumped to the residents.
If that day was reached, what would it mean for a regime already at its weakest point since the 1979 revolution? A fragile economy that saw mass protests 6 years ago around rising fuel prices. Further demonstrations in 2022 after the death of Mahsa Amini, as people rose up against the regime's oppressive policies towards women. And then the war against Israel this year, further shaking the regime's strength as well as damaging vital infrastructure, with the energy minister blaming that for water leakages leading to today's crisis. But as the regime warns Tehran's residents about their future, and possibly even having to evacuate, the people have had enough.
آقای رئیس جمهور یعنی صریح ما که بدترین و خوفناکترین حرفا رو داره صریح میزنه، به جای اینکه به عنوان رئیس جمهوری باشه که حرفای امیدوار کننده برای این کشوری بزنه که واقعا داریم سالهای بسیار سختی رو در گرانی، در تحریم، در همه چی داریم به سر میبریم. این هیچ.
Such is the gravity of the situation, with few solutions available. Prayer seems to be the only answer. Hundreds did just that at a mosque in the capital. As the country enters its winter months, rain should finally arrive. But that would be just a short-term fix. in a nation where many are desperate for greater change.